Republicans are willing to rewrite these rules to give themselves an advantage, then they're leaving us no choice. We must do the same. There's a phrase, you have to fight fire with fire. That is a true statement of how we're feeling right now. As I've said, another overused but applicable phrase, all's fair in love and war.
So we're at war. That's Democrat Governor Kathy Hochul declaring war, apparently. And New York, having nothing to do with Texas, is going to have to redistrict and try to gerrymander Republican seats out of existence in New York. I didn't know there were any Republican seats remaining in New York. It's war. And so it's all, we're not in love, so it must be war that the Democrat governor, who has proven to be an incompetent again and again, I guess declaring war. Because the Democrats did create the first Civil War, the first American Civil War. Isn't that great? So all's fair in love and war. And what was the other hackneyed phrase that she used? Fire with fire. Oh, yeah, fire with fire. Probably shouldn't use that one, given how many things the Democrats have firebombed lately, including the Jewish Pennsylvania governor's mansion with 2 Molotov cocktails because he sounded too pro-Israel. Democrats are pro-Hamas. They want to recognize a Palestinian state that, that Gaza was a Palestinian state. More than twice the size of Washington, D.C., more than 25 miles of Mediterranean seafront property. Beaches could be a paradise. Instead, savagery, rape, inbreeding. Did you see the inbreeding story? That was kind of a fun inbreeding story. Turns out there's a great deal of inbreeding in the Gaza. And the news media, like the New York Times, had this ridiculous piece last week where they had a small child being cradled by a woman, and the child turns out, and they're like, oh, the child is starving to death, the poor child, because the Jews, and the Republicans or something, the child's starving to death. Then it was learned that the child was born with cerebral palsy and had several other severe medical conditions, leaving the child frail and looking like he's emaciated because he has major medical issues. And there's a story today on all of the medical issues that kids have in the Gaza, and they point to massive amounts of inbreeding. That in Gaza and among the Palestinians in Israel, the inbreeding is so commonplace, like 40% or something of the newborns are a product of incest and inbreeding. And the Democrat Party's got their back, even though the spinal cord is bulging through the skin. All right, but let me go back to the other, because the American Eagle ad, Sydney Sweeney, and it was learned that yesterday, I guess, that Sydney Sweeney, the jeans ad for American Eagle, she's the model, and the left-wing media very upset. Sydney Sweeney revealed to be a registered Republican. Now, what does that mean, revealed? Is that something you keep a secret? Is that like being a transgender communist or something? Does that make you a hero of the Democrat Party? But they're very upset, fresh off the backlash from the left about an American Eagle ad that touted her good genes, and they spell it Goodjeans, all right? Good genes, like blue jeans, Jans. That's the thing. Euphoria star, that's a show that she was on called Euphoria, Sydney Sweeney has been reported to be a registered Republican. A revelation. It's a revelation, no less, because it's assumed that she's a Democrat. And if you're not, then it's a revelation. And there's got to be backlash, and because the Democrat Party is the party of civil war. Revelation which has triggered further outrage from liberal influencers. There is further outrage. They're constantly outraged. And celebration from MAGA influencers. Multiple outlets confirmed over the weekend that Sweeney is a registered Republican in the state of Florida and has been since 2024. Well, that's not very long, is it? Since this is, August of 2025. So that's not really for a very long time. Sweeney has become something of a darling in conservative circles over the past week as some on the left, radical killer accusers, self-immolators, have accused the ad of promoting eugenics by alluding to good genes, which goes back to, genes ads from decades ago that Democrats were fine with and everything. And where's the Beyonce jeans ads which was just a year ago, and everybody celebrated that, and that was all great, wonderful, wonderful. The good genes. And by the way, the Democrat Party is the party of eugenics, not the Republican Party. And Margaret Sanger, the queen of eugenics in the United States, some of whose work was borrowed by the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler, they give out an award, the Democrats do. Planned Parenthood, she created Planned Parenthood, wanted to exterminate black people in the United States. Margaret Sanger was her name. And they give out an award named for Margaret Sanger. And Hillary Clinton is a recipient of that award. Hanoi Jane Fonda, a recipient of that award. Lyndon Baines Johnson, a recipient of that award. But never mind all of that. They say, oh, it's eugenics. Well, then you're calling her a Democrat or something, saying it's a Democrat ad. So just amazing stuff. Now, let's go because the President Trump was asked yesterday. He was getting off of his helicopter, maybe getting on, I think he was getting off the helicopter onto the plane. Might have been the other way around, off the plane onto the helicopter. The new Marine Corps helicopter, by the way, the VH-92. But never mind that. President Trump was asked about it yesterday. Hey, Sydney Sweeney in the jeans ad that has the Democrats plotzing all over the place. Turns out she's a registered Republican.
Sydney Sweeney, it came out this weekend that she was a registered Republican. Any thoughts on that?
That who was?
Sydney Sweeney. She's like a very hot actress right now.
She's a registered Republican?
Yes.
Oh, now I love her ad. Is that right? Is Sydney Sweeney? You'd be surprised at how many people are Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that. If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. I've answered that. Now I think the ad is fantastic. Isn't that wonderful? President Trump also posted on his own social media platform, Truth Social. He posted, Sydney Sweeney, a registered Republican, has the hottest ad out there, President Trump says. It's for American Eagle, and the jeans are flying off the shelves. Go get 'em, Sydney. On the other side of the ledger, Jaguar, the car. Jaguar did a stupid and seriously woke advertisement that is a total disaster. The CEO just resigned in disgrace. That's true. And the company is in absolute turmoil. That's true, too. Who wants to buy a Jaguar after looking at that disgraceful ad? Shouldn't they have learned a lesson from Bud Light? They should have, honestly, which went woke and essentially destroyed in a short campaign the company. They did lose billions. The market cap destruction. And this is President continuing. The market cap destruction has been unprecedented, with billions of dollars so foolishly lost. Or just look at woke singer Taylor Swift. Ever since I alerted the world as to what she was saying by saying on Truth, that's an album she has, Truth, that I can't stand her. Hate, he put the word hate in parentheses, in all caps. She was booed out of the Super Bowl and became no longer hot. The tide has seriously turned. Being woke is for losers. Being Republican is what you want to be. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He loves to end his missives with, thank you for your attention to this matter, which is pretty funny. And I didn't actually know about the Jaguar thing, but it's true. Jaguar CEO steps down after woke rebrand sparks massive social media firestorm. And so the head of Jaguar, which is probably a pretty good job, and then they decided to rebrand, and Jaguar Land Rover, the CEO, Adrian Mardell, he's now going to suddenly retire after 3 decades as the luxury car company's CEO for the last 3 years, but he's been there for 3 decades. Last 3 years as CEO. And a spokesperson said the automaker announced that, he'd be retiring now. British car brand turned heads last year with its release of a new ad that featured a reimagined logo under the slogan, "Copy Nothing." And it's all transgender, cross-dressing, rainbow stuff. And they say, oh, that's a good idea. Figuring buggery is very popular in Great Britain, the United Kingdom and all that stuff. But President Trump weighed in on this. And the Democrats just won't let go of anything. They're just so fanatical. The old Winston Churchillism, a fanatic is a person who can't change their mind and won't change the subject. That's your Democrat Party. J.D. Vance appeared, the Vice President of the United States, appeared on a podcast and was asked about young Ms. Sweeney, Sydney Sweeney, and the ad and all this stuff going on. And J.D. Vance, he's very fluid. And he's capable with the English language.
Political advice to the Democrats is continue to tell everybody who thinks Sydney Sweeney is attractive is a Nazi. that appears to be their actual strategy. I mean, it actually reveals something pretty interesting about the Dems, though, which is that you have like a normal, all-American, beautiful girl doing like a normal jeans ad, right? They're trying to sell jeans to kids in America, and they have managed to so unhinge themselves over this thing. And it's like, you guys, did you learn nothing from the November 2024 election? Like, I actually thought that one of the lessons they might take is we're going to be less crazy. The lesson they have apparently taken is we're going to attack people as Nazis for thinking Sydney Sweeney is beautiful. Great strategy, guys. That's how you're going to win the midterm, especially young American men.
Yeah, where they're waiting all over the place. In fact, we've got a story out of CNN and their numbers guy that I want to share with you, too. But another video emerged over the weekend as well of Sydney Sweeney, and this is apparently from like 4 years ago, at a shooting range, Los Angeles area shooting range, where Keanu Reeves went to train with guns before he did. What did he do? Yeah, John Wick, and he went there to shoot guns. And Sydney Sweeney went there several years ago now, but the video just surfaced of her shooting a pistol and being very deft at shooting this pin. She's moving and going around a column and going from targets over here to targets over there, and she's shooting very capably.
Shooter ready. Stand by.
Listen to those metal targets. Pinging them all over the place. Kicking butt, I'm telling you, and it's good stuff. Now, if Alec Baldwin had only gone to this range before, maybe he wouldn't have shot his cinematographer and killed her and shot a bullet through his director. Should have gone to that range. The Hollywood range, the Hollywood hipsters go there. She went there, and I got to tell you, she's looking very capable indeed. Now, another video emerged over the weekend of a woman, a very attractive woman, named Tiffany Fong. Tiffany Fong, F-O-N-G. Not Fang Fang, but Tiffany Fong. And she's very beautiful, and she's wearing, kind of sprawled out on the floor in an alluring fashion, wearing yellow jeans and a yellow jean jacket, and she's making fun of the Democrats.
Handed down from my parents before me and their parents before them. My jeans are yellow.
Tiffany Fong has yellow jeans.
She has yellow jeans. Hey, wait a minute. You can't say that. She's got yellow jeans. But, it's Democrat rules. It's you can use as long as you're the person. It's like, the N-word in rap music and things like that. Tiffany Fong. She's a social media influencer, and she focuses on cryptocurrency. So she's no dope, and she might even be very wealthy. So, and she has probably, my jeans are yellow. And the Democrats just have another reason to lose their minds because you know how they are. Big wireless, the big cell phone companies, they've been pulling one over on all of us. It's time to make a switch to consumer cellular. I made the switch to consumer cellular. Look, it's fast, it's easy. They have a reliable nationwide network, just like big wireless coverage without the big wireless costs. And it's not just about saving money on your bill at the end of every month, although that's good. It's about not being used and abused and taken for granted by the big cell phone companies. Do you even know how much data you use every month? Most people over the age of 50 use less than 8 gigs of data a month. But if you're 20, you might use 10 times that. Big wireless companies have found a way to shove you into unlimited plans so they can redistribute your payments to pay for the young people using 10 times as much data. You know, if you're not using all that data, you are the one being used. Had enough of that, went with Consumer Cellular. They set me up with a service and a phone, an amazing phone, great camera, and it's really easy to switch. All you have to do is make a phone call where you talk to an actual human being, not a robot, based right here in the United States of America, the person you're talking to. Incredibly helpful, takes about 20 minutes, saves you money every month. Give them a call and make the switch today. 1-800-760-0702. 1-800-760-0702. Yeah, Tiffany Fung. Good, and J.D. Vance, yeah. Now, the Democrats' plan is, if you think she's attractive, you're a Nazi. That's good. She's a Nazi. She's a fascist. You got to hear Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly went off on this. I have that coming up for you, and we have beeped the appropriate words. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. I've got Megyn Kelly coming up for you. She's not very happy about this whole American Eagle, Sydney Sweeney thing that the Democrats have whipped out. But I have my friend Tim shared the background on Tiffany Fong. Tiffany Fong, very attractive indeed, and making news all over the world for this thing. In April, just a few months ago, the Wall Street Journal reported that Elon Musk contacted Tiffany Fong and asked her, she's very attractive, to have a child with him. Didn't want to meet or anything. They had never met in person, but he saw her online, so he got a hold of her and said, hey, I'd like you to have my baby. And the Wall Street Journal says that Tiffany Fong declined the golden opportunity, the proposal by Elon Musk, reportedly telling confidant Ashley St. Clair, another influencer who had a child with Elon Musk, must be attractive as well, that she envisioned having children within a more traditional family structure. Well, what's more traditional family structure than just having Elon Musk call you and saying, hey, I'd like to knock you up and have you give birth to my baby? What's more traditional than that? Can't imagine anything's more traditional than that. So the Wall Street Journal also reported that Tiffany Fong expressed concern that refusing Musk's proposal to be the mother of his, 15th baby or whatever it is, could negatively affect her earnings from X, Musk's social media platform. Report indicated that her earnings on the platform decreased after Elon Musk unfollowed her and admonished her for disclosing his request, his proposal. Boy, this is complicated, isn't it? I prefer a simple life, a much simpler life for me. All right, I want to get to Megyn Kelly and her opinions on this whole American Eagle jeans thing, and Sydney Sweeney and the Democrats becoming clinically insane over this and everything else. Now they say the whole country has to redistrict every congressional seat, every Democrat in there. They should break away and reconstitute the Confederate States of America. And they can bring back slavery as they did before the First Civil War. And they can use illegal aliens as their slaves. Well, invest in bullwhips now because the Democrats are making a comeback. All right, let's go to and then President Trump firing the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and an interesting update on that. And Harry Enton, they call him the guru. So many headlines call him their data guru, their polling guru at CNN, and he's given the Democrats a lot of bad news. But right now, let's go to Megyn Kelly, who I've always liked very much. And Megyn Kelly, she has blonde hair, and I guess she has blue eyes. You think she has blue eyes? She probably has blue eyes. And the Democrats have turned their hate stare on all women with blonde hair because of Sydney Sweeney and the American Eagle ad. And the only thing they're good at is hate. And, you know, I've done the old point and hate. The Democrat Party has the ability to point out anybody in a crowd and order the crowd to hate them, and then the whole crowd hates them. And now it's Sydney Sweeney. It'll be somebody else tomorrow. That's what they did to Donald Trump. They do it all the time. Point and hate. Megyn Kelly's had enough of it.
We're sick and tired of the nonsense
Uh-oh.
where you are not allowed to ever celebrate someone who is white and blonde and blue-eyed. That we have to walk into a room apologetic for those things, or we have for the past 5 years. And in a way, this ad is the final declaration that we're done doing that shit. It doesn't mean we're better, but you know what? We're no worse than any other race or any other hair color or eye color, and we're sick of being told that we are by having all of our representation, to use the left's terms, removed from television shows and movies and historical plot lines that involve people who do look like us.
Yeah, well, you know, again, it's point and hate. It can be Sydney Sweeney. It can be all white women with blonde hair. They're resentful. They're bitter. They're jealous, envious, and they're anti-civilizational. They're not liberals. They're the left. And, you know, blonde women, great. Asian women, great. Brunette women, great. Women are great. I love women. I've always loved women. My mother was a woman. I was going to say my first wife was a woman. There are exceptions to every rule. They're not all good. It doesn't mean they're all good. Because, you know, some are just born to be ex-wives. But my current wife, my best girl, wonderful, wonderful. Everything's great. Megyn Kelly's had quite enough, and she's cursing up a storm. She's really, because, you know, it's podcasting and cable. We're all, I think there's more cursing going on everywhere. Not for the betterment of humankind, but nevertheless, and notwithstanding, Megyn Kelly.
Suddenly, we've been deemed too offensive to remain white, like Anne Boleyn, who needed to be changed into a black woman in order to appeal to people's cultural sensitivities. Or, you know, stupid stuff like, oh, they had to change Hermione Granger in the play version of Harry Potter into a black girl because something's offensive, I guess, about the redheaded white girl. We're done with that bullshit.
We're done with that. We've had, look, the Democrat Party, the left all over the world has famously for a century fanned the flames of racial divisions in order to stoke wars, civil wars, cross-border wars, international wars. The left, and today's Democrat Party is the left, and they're using race as a weapon to divide, to pit groups against one another, as the left has famously done, the real left, and today's Democrat Party is the real left. They're not liberals at all. They're the most illiberal group living among us today. They're the left. All right, but with that said, let's move on to another topic here. And that is CNN's Harry Enten. His name is Harry Enten. I always think of like a Danish, you know, an Entenmann's or something covered in hair. It's not a very attractive image. But Harry Enten, he's the polling guy at CNN, and he really enjoys his work. And he jumps around, and he is kind of fun, actually. And he jumps around a lot, and he yells, and he waves his arms, and he says, now look at this, now look at this. And here's CNN's Harry Enten talking about the polling numbers that he's looking at having to do with President Trump, the Trump presidency, Republicans today versus Democrats today, and how much better Trump and the Republicans are doing than the Democrats and their deity, Barack Hussein Obama.
The Donald Trump administration is implementing new tariffs this week, and I believe it is part of a larger story. That is that the Donald Trump administration is arguably the most influential this century and probably as well dating back a good portion of the last century as well. Love it, like it, lump it. Trump is remaking the United States of America.
Trump is remaking the United States of America. It is, wait a minute, he's the most influential? Is that what he said? Dubs Trump the most influential president of this century. Now, we're 25 years into the century, the 21st century. We're 1/4 of the way through. But then he said, And not just this century. It's more than just this century. It goes back into the last century, too. Trump is changing the country.
Donald Trump is the most influential president of this century and probably dating back a good portion of the last century. That is because he is remaking the country in terms of tariffs. He is remaking the country in terms of net migration, and he is remaking the country in terms of how much policy changes he's putting through in executive orders.
Now, again, you need a Congress that is going to pass so much of this into law because if a Democrat becomes president, then, of course, the next Democrat president can reverse the vast majority of what is created by executive order. Another executive order can undo that. Now, President Trump is undoing, and he did undo immediately, a lot of executive orders that Joe Biden had put into place. And Joe Biden doesn't know what he's signing, and the auto pen doesn't know what it's signing, and, you know, the whole Biden thing. But that aside, just amazing stuff. The Democrats are insane. They've lost their minds completely. And speaking of which, there's kind of an amazing Democrat story out of Minnesota, where they got a lot of crazy Democrats. They voted for that Tim Walz guy to be governor, and he lied about going to Iraq, and he lied about all kinds of things. His wife loved the smell of the city burning when the Democrats were rioting, and racist riots everywhere, murdering people, looting, burning, Democrat stuff. And Walz's wife said she'd leave the bedroom windows open at night so she could smell the city burning because she loved the scent of the city burning. Living is easy with eyes closed, misunderstanding all you see, as the Beatles once sang. Isn't that amazing? But the good people at Turning Point USA posted it. St. Paul, Minnesota. Liberals in the smash room. They created a smash room. Are smashing watermelons and TVs to get their rage against the Trump administration out. This is one of the multiple rage booths at the Rage Against the Regime event currently being held in St. Paul, Minneapolis. Now, this is, again, my friend Marty sent me this yesterday. They've got these giant oversized hammers, and they're smashing watermelons. Now, what does that sound like? Sounds like the old, not always very funny comedian Gallagher, who would bring out a giant oversized wooden hammer the size of your torso on a big stick and smash watermelons with it and squirt the watermelon all over the crowd in the front row. And here they are. It's Gallagher therapy for Democrats. They can't even smash it in one smash. Over and over again. With giant hammers, sledgehammers, smashing watermelons because of their rage. And then idiots show up to cheer and clap because they're all mental. Completely mental. So they've got, this. It reminded me, as soon as I saw it, Michael Piercy and I were texting back and forth. So it reminds me of, remember when the Democrats had a nationwide Scream at the Sky Day? Give an idiot a drum. And they came out by the thousands. They claim by the millions to scream at the sky. And now they're smashing watermelons in Gallagher therapy. Because Donald Trump, according to CNN's own polls, is the most influential president this century. Now, again, we're only a quarter way through the century. But he said, if we go before the year 2000, go back and back, Trump is more influential. They're screaming at the sky. They're smashing watermelons with big mallets. They are very, very unwell. These people. The violence is everywhere, too. I mean, they are violent, not just the hammers and the mental illness of scream at the sky and all that stuff, but, they are occasionally shooting people and firebombing places and looting a lot of places and attacking the police. And they've got senators violently attacking the police. And they're fuming, raging mad that a blonde woman posed for a jeans commercial, and she's in danger now. She doubtless has to get security. Oh, speaking of security, there's another amazing story because the Democrats are Democrats. There is people enter the school system and become school administrators and all of that good stuff. There is an amazing story popped over the weekend. Queen Reed, R-E-I-D, Queen Reed, embattled Virginia schools boss, demands personal bodyguard on top of lavish salary, perks. Virginia school superintendent earning $424,000 a year. That's more than the President of the United States. Seeks personal bodyguard for $143,000 a year. She's a school administrator. 3 years after leaving sleepy Seattle suburb to run the school district in Fairfax County, Virginia, outside the nation's capital, Michelle Reed earns more money than the U.S. president and gets a car allowance. Now she wants a taxpayer-funded personal bodyguard. Sure. New job posting, and they posted the job. Brass Ring, an online recruitment platform, the Fairfax County Public School Superintendent is advertising for an executive protection agent. That's personal security, private security. Based at the school district's C-Suite headquarters on Gatehouse Road in Falls Church. Deadline for the application is August 5th. That's tomorrow. The new job would pay between $84,000 a year, which is more than any teacher starts at there, to $143,880. How do they come up with these numbers? She wants personal security guard to follow around, but you need more than one. You can't have one 24 hours a day, All right, now let's get to... That's Democrats. President Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because of all the bad work being done by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and President Trump was asked about it yesterday.
We'll be announcing a new statistician sometime over the next 3-4 days. We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous, what she announced, but that was just one negative number. All of the numbers seem to be great, and so we'll see how that comes out.
Now, this has them going crazy again, right? Senator Alex Padilla, Democrat, California senator that nobody knows.
I think an investigation is certainly in order. The example after example of Donald Trump weaponizing no longer just the Department of Justice. When he's trying to weaponize the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that tells you a lot about their insecurity about the economy. And the state of economic affairs in America.
Weaponize, coming from the people that weaponize the CIA and the FBI and the entire intelligence community and all that good stuff. But never mind that. Now, Ray Dalio is the founder of the world's biggest hedge fund, Bridgewater Associates. They manage more than $112 billion. $112 billion is what they manage, plus. And Ron Dalio came out and said, I would fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, too, because the Bureau of Labor Statistics keeps coming up with the wrong numbers, and then they have to adjust them later on jobs. And how do you run an economy when your own government offices that are supposed to be responsible for producing these numbers keep giving you the wrong numbers? Last year, 2024, Bureau of Labor Statistics had to, after the fact, revise down their jobs numbers by more than 800,000, jobs. That's quite amazing, isn't it? And Ron Dalio, who knows a thing or two about a thing or two when it comes to money, he says, oh, yeah, the way that this is going, Ron Dalio, I keep calling him Ron, it's Ray Dalio, said, I probably would have fired the head of Bureau of Labor Statistics, too. That's because its process for making estimates is obviously obsolete and error-prone, and there is no good plan in the works for fixing it. The huge revisions in Friday's employment numbers, this is what I'm talking about, go on and on. The huge revisions in the Friday numbers toward private estimates that were, in fact, much better. But with Joe Biden in office, they'd give us the numbers, and then they'd revise them downward after the fact. Now they're revising them upward now that Trump is in. Ray Dalio says, I assure you that this is something that I know a lot about because of how I use data to follow the economy and bet on where it's going. So if Ray Dalio would fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we should listen to what Ray Dalio has to say. So much more that the Democrats have done. I do want to share with you that the most important newspaper in the country, the New York Post, which correctly reported, truthfully reported, accurately reported on the Hunter Biden laptop from the very beginning, was not given any awards for it. They're launching a new operation in California, in Los Angeles, the California Post. Boy, that's going to be a busy newsroom. They better get good security, too. You know how the left hates the truth. Aren't they amazing? And it's a war. What is this? Ana Cabrera talking about, I played the audio of Kathy Hochul, the Democrat governor of New York, and said, listen to the rhetoric.
New York Governor Hochul, we just played there, calling this redistricting fight a war, saying this is a war. We are at war. Is that how you see it?
It's not what she said.
Democrats are going to respond from coast to coast and at all points in between to this effort to steal the midterm elections.
That was Hakeem Jeffries responding. We're going to steal the election with it? Is that we're going to do it from coast to coast and all points in between? He doesn't know what the phrase from coast to coast means. You don't have to say and all points in between. That's what the phrase means. We're going to do it from coast to coast. The two in between coast and coast, that means all points in between. But that's Hakeem Jeffries. He hates the Jews. And the Democrat Party is a threat to civilization. And Kathy Hochul didn't say, this is war, as Ana Cabrera said. She said, all's fair in love and war, and I mocked her for it. But their ABC, they're fanning the flames. They're stoking the fire. They're pouring gasoline on everything because they're not liberals. They're the left.